Hi, trend forecasting students. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to take a couple of moments to say hello and welcome you back from spring break and let you know that I am thinking about you. I hope that you are healthy and doing well and that you are managing to navigate these unusual times. There's a lot going on in the world, and it can certainly be a lot to process. So if there's anything that I can do to support you, please know that I'm here. I know I said that in my email, but I think sometimes the implication is that I can support you in trend forecasting, or maybe in your academics, but I really mean that I will do my best to support you in any way that I can. I know that this can be a little bit stressful, and in a time of a lot of change at once, it can be somewhat anxiety inducing. So if you're experiencing any of that and I can help in any way, please don't hesitate. I will certainly do my best to help in any way that I can. I also wanted to say that I'm really excited to get started and to welcome you into the second half of the semester, even in these unusual times. I'm looking forward to getting started again and to being creative with you to make the most of the rest of trend forecasting. So I hope you guys are with me on that, and that we can have a little bit of fun in a new format. So I hope you are well. I hope you had an opportunity to enjoy the extended break, and I miss you all, and I hope that I will get to see your face sometime soon as well. We could certainly make good use of Zoom and Canvas conferences, etc. to do that. So more to come on that as the semester unfolds. I thought what I would do as well is walk you through some of the course updates. I know I've sent a pretty extensive list of those updates, but I think for many people it works a little bit better to have an auditory and a visual component as well. So if the list works well for you, great, you're all set. If not, hang on tight, and I'm going to walk you through what you need to know for the second half of the semester in our online learning environment. So what I'm going to do now is share my screen and just kind of walk you through our course updates. So what we're looking at here is the list of course updates that I sent to you in my previous email. So the first one is adjusted content delivery. This one is an important one because it addresses just how we are going to quote unquote meet in an online environment. So for trend forecasting, we will make use of the tools available to us to stay connected. So largely that will be through our Canvas course site. We will explore additional module material and resources, and we will make use of other functionalities of Canvas, like discussion forums, for example. So this really means, to put it very clearly, that you will not be required to meet synchronously, to meet together as a class on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9:30 or on Mondays and Wednesdays at 2 o'clock. We will work asynchronously, somewhat independently, and you can be self-paced because of that. You'll still be required to meet deadlines, but you can pace yourself within the time frames given. So the rationale for this was really just was based on evaluating what would best suit the curriculum and the students in trend forecasting. For the most part, y'all are juniors and seniors and know how to navigate course curriculum relatively well. So rather than have you come and sit in a Zoom lecture twice a week, I felt like it would be more effective and more efficient for you to be able to work directly, hands-on, with the material as supported by some additional content. So that's not to say that we won't connect with one another. There will be a lot of opportunities to do that, like discussion forums, like using web conferencing tools. So you'll see more of that as the semester unfolds. The next thing that changed a little bit was course content. This is mostly just to alert you to the structure of our remaining 2 modules. They've been slightly built out and refined to best support online learning. There's been an elevated element of organization, so it's very clear where to look for what information. So the structure is that each module will start with clearly defining the dates associated with that module, so the begin date and the end date, and a module overview, which will be a very brief synopsis of what is covered in the module, and then the agenda and checklist. So that's an area that I think will be useful to students because it's essentially a place to look for everything that you're responsible for within a given module. The next item will be module resources. So this is a place where you'll find slide decks and other materials and module resources. Module assessments are where assignments and exams associated with the module will live. And then this module questions and discussion area, this is not a required module discussion. This is a place where you can go and post a question or a comment and get feedback and input from others. So I will monitor that and certainly respond, but other students can as well. So this is basically a place to come together and talk about the module content in a way that we would in the classroom. So let's move on to adjusted timelines and deadlines. The key takeaway here is that we will no longer operate on a Monday, Wednesday, or a Tuesday, Thursday basis. We will work on a Monday to Sunday week. And the main implication there is that deadlines will be Sunday at midnight, and new content or new modules will go live or be published or become available on a Monday. So the final project did require some significant adjustment. And the reason is that the previous final project asked you not only to work in person with team members, but also in person with those in the industry and to visit locales that are no longer accessible. So it became pretty clear pretty quickly that not only would it be unsafe to ask you to proceed with that project, it wouldn't be feasible. And so a new final project has been developed that actually asks you to consider the current situation as it relates to the fashion industry and trend forecasting. So hopefully that will be kind of an interesting project for you that will be very timely and looking at what will become pretty significant industry issues with regard to the current situation. So I will provide a separate video on that with more detail. That'll be coming soon. Adjustments to grading. As adjustments to the course were made, it became clear that adjustments to grading criteria also needed to change. Essentially what happened here is that I wanted to ensure that you were getting the most credit where you were doing the most work, okay? So course engagement and professionalism, this grading area that's 30% of your grade, that's where you will complete all assignments related to the module and where you will engage in course content. And so that is a lot of work and warrants a larger percentage of your grade. And then the final project, because of its reduced scope, really, I think, warranted less a percentage of your total grade. And so the grading criteria and graded weights were adjusted accordingly. As you scroll down, you'll see a note about textbook access. So as you know, this course does follow a textbook pretty closely. And so if for any reason you don't have access to your textbook, whether you were using a copy in the library or you left it on campus and are no longer on campus, whatever the case may be, you can have free digital access through the publisher. I worked with the publisher to ensure that the textbook would not be a roadblock for any student this semester. So I hope that you have the textbook because I think it'll make your life easier, but if you don't, we can certainly facilitate digital access. And there's information on how to do that in Canvas. And then as you scroll down, what you see is basically a synopsis of where we're at and where we're going, which basically becomes a to-do list right through to the end of the semester. So Module 3 we're just about done with. One thing that I do want to point out about Module 3 is that the Chapter 8 assignment was a discussion forum. So anytime there's a discussion forum, there are actually going to be 2 deadlines associated with it. There'll be a deadline for an initial post, and then there'll also be a deadline for coming back to respond, right, to engage in the conversation. So you always want to check the discussion forums for what the date on that initial post is. Module 4 and Module 5 will follow a very similar format. You'll be required to do some reading and look at some resources, and then to engage in the content, and then finally close it out with an exam. The thing to note about exams in our online learning environment is that rather than a 2-hour window, you have a much longer time frame. It's about the last several days of each module that you'll have available for the exam. Assignment 5. So assignment 5 I'm actually going to provide you with a separate video on as well to go over it. It's the last remaining assignment of the semester, of the 5 that we reviewed at the beginning of the semester. If you go into the assignment 5 module, which I'll show you in just a moment, there's a lot of information there, and everything that you need to know about it is already posted for you. It is a team assignment. I have taken the liberty of breaking you into teams already, and that was really just to avoid any confusion, any communication lags, and to keep things efficient. So you can read more there, and there'll be a separate video coming. The same is true with the final project in terms of a separate video coming. I'll walk you through everything you need to know about the final project, and that will be due at the end of the semester. And then what you have here basically is just for convenience. It's all of the deadlines for the rest of the semester by date. So if you can come back to this at any point during the semester and know exactly where you need to be. So what I'm going to do now is just quickly toggle over to our Canvas course site so you can take a look at how this plays out in our online learning environment, Canvas. So course resources, a link to the updates that I just reviewed with you. Virtual office hours, super easy. You can meet with me anytime by phone, by video conferencing, and there's instructions on how to do that. Super straightforward. You send me an email with a meeting request, and then I'll respond, and we'll get it scheduled. Information for accessing the digital textbook is here. I just mentioned that. Module 1 and Module 2 are done. Module 3, we're just about through. We really just have these 2 items left, so you want to keep those on your radar, of course, too. And then we move into Module 4 and Module 5. So Module 4 and Module 5 will follow basically the same format, the one that I just reviewed with you when looking at the course update sheet. So module resources, module assessments, and then if you should have any issues or questions, you can post them here. Same overview for Module 5. The one thing I'll say about Module 5 is that you may have noted if you went through and took a look, there is some Module 5 content that has not yet been posted, so that will be published soon. And then sort of a landing place for our previous assignments, and then assignment 5 with its own module, and that again is to support your understanding of assignment 5, where we won't be in class together for me to explain it and give context, etc. So there's an example, a guide, an overview, the list of teams that I mentioned I put you into already, a place to ask questions, schedule a meeting, and then a place to submit. So there'll be a separate video coming on that. Final project, same idea. Project overview, resources, places to ask questions, a place to submit, separate video coming on this too. And that pretty much sums it up. So that is what you need to know about going into the second half of the semester. I am wishing you very well and am hoping that you stay healthy and happy and enjoy the second half of the semester. I'll see you soon.